Oops.
Oh no!
So why does this paper tear easily and some papers don't? What is the reason?
I will be answering your question, Shaf. Some paper tear easily and some don't because of beating and refining. The term beating and refining are used interchangeably. They refer to the mechanical treatment of chemical pulp to make it suitable for paper making. The term beating is used mainly for treatments in laboratory equipment and in old-fashioned mill beaters, while the term refining refers to a similar treatment but is more appropriate for modern mill equipment and will be used exclusively for mill processes in the following. The purpose of beating or refining is to design the fibers to match the requirements of the paper making process and the desired properties of the finished paper. For example, good dewatery characteristics of the stock are desired in the forming and press section, as well as high potential for good formation quality in the forming section.
Interesting. So what are the methods used to produce these pulps?
Before we get to know the methods used, you should know that pulp beating and refining are defined as the mechanical processing of pulp in water, usually by conveying the pulp suspensions through a narrow gap between rotating rotor and fixed bar aligned across the current of the stock flow. First, beating. Beating is done in batch operations, which is the mechanical action of rotating bars opposing a stationary bed plate on circulating fiber suspension. The methods used for beating are: first, laboratory Hollander Valley beater, divided into two, which are Hollander beater and Valley beater. The Hollander beater is used to produce paper pulp from cellulose containing plant fibers. The channel is essentially filled with stock in the 4 until 8% consistency range. Next, Valley beater is used to evaluate pulps on a small scale. There is also a Valley laboratory beater, which is a miniature Hollander of 23 liters capacity, which operates at 1.57% consistency. Next method is Lampen mill beater, which is an old method. There is also one of the laboratory beaters, and the other methods is PFI mill, which is also a laboratory beater consisting of bars and a smooth bed plate. It is used for beating chemical pulps under standardized conditions. As for refining, it is carried out in continuous operation, which is the mechanical action carried out in the refiner, and most of the fibers move parallel to the bar crossings. There are two types of refiners, which are conical and disc refiners. Three types of conical refiners are: first one, low angle type, which is known as Jordan refiner. It is the first refiner machine, named after its 19th century inventor. However, the number of this machine used is decreasing due to difficult change of shell, long shell, and low capacity. The second one is high angle type, which is known as Cleveland refiner, which is mainly used for coarse and fine refining of pulp, broken paper, and recycled pulp. Lastly, medium angle type, which is known as Conflow refiner. It is the newest type of conical refiner and is the most popular low consistency refiner. For these refiners, there are three basic types, which are rotating disc opposing stationary disc, two opposing rotating disc, and rotating double-sided disc, which is also known as floating disc space between two stationary discs. The stock flow in this design can follow either a parallel arrangement, which is dual flow, or a series of arrangement, which is monoflow.
So what is the significant difference between the beaten pulp and the unbeaten pulp?
Paper manufactured from undivided stock is low in strength, fluffy, porous, and unsuitable for most users. As a result, the fibers are weakly bonded and web formation is poor due to a lack of interfiber hydrogen bonds. On the other hand, paper from beaten stock is strong, dense, and hard in texture. This is a key distinction between beaten and unbeaten pulp of paper making. Unbeaten fibers cannot be easily shaped into a consistent sheet of paper with a relatively high density, while well-beaten fibers can.
Pulp produced by different methods respond differently during the refining treatment. It is difficult to be beaten due to the type of chemical pulps, bleaching treatment, method of pulping, content of hemicellulose, and prior drying process.
Now I understand why some papers are stronger and do not tear easily and some papers are weaker. Thank you guys for the explanations.
You are welcome.
You're welcome, Shaf.
You're welcome.